Doors open 11 o'clock. From 11 to 11:30 is our caucus registration time period. Okay? What that means is that at these caucus locations, which are largely schools, community centers, libraries, churches, these will host the lion's share of caucus locations across the state. There will be a volunteer, like myself, we're calling the temporary chair, sitting at a table, okay, registering people to come into the precinct caucuses. If I was a registered Democrat, I would enter the meeting, I would state my name to the volunteer would look my name up, I would sign off that I'm actually attending this precinct caucus, and then I would have an option to pick an initial presidential preference of which candidate I was for initially when I entered that meeting. Okay? Then off to the side, there would be a table of candidate information. Okay? So if I came into that precinct meeting and I wasn't as sure which candidate I supported, but I knew that I wanted to attend, I wanted to caucus from, I could read a letter from one of the candidates. Okay? There would also be what we're calling a presidential preference card that I would pick up that I would use later in that meeting. If I was a Republican, a no party, American Party, or not registered to vote, I would enter that meeting and I would have to fill out a voter registration form and register as a Democrat to participate in that precinct meeting. And then I'd go through the same process. I'd fill out some information, I'd check which candidate I'm initially for, or if I was uncommitted, I could put uncommitted, look over the candidate information, and pick up the presidential preference card. Okay? The point being, what do you have to be registered to participate? Democrat. Okay? During this time frame, from 11 to 11:30, the caucus registration, observers are also allowed to attend these precinct caucuses. So if a mom or a dad wants to bring their children, or they maybe have friends, or some people that don't want to participate, they want to observe the process, they are allowed to bring these people to observe. At 11:30, the precinct caucus meeting is called to order by the temporary chair. Okay? I'm going to call the meeting to order. Now, if this is a busy precinct and there's still a line of people that are registering, of course, they are allowed to register and enter the meeting. But I am calling the meeting to order at 11:30 across all the caucus locations across the state. 11:30, the meeting is called to order. From 11:30 to noon is when I'm going to go over the caucus day agenda. There's a couple different things that you can see that go on during that time. One of the things that has to occur is I was the temporary chair, the person the party identified to run this precinct, needs to be elected permanent chair by the caucus participants. Okay, so there would be a vote on that. The next thing that would happen is that as you see this delegate apportionment, there would actually be in these precinct meetings a caucus day agenda, and I would walk people through the process of the caucus. The caucus is to elect delegates on the county convention. I would explain some of the other caucus business so everyone understands how the meeting is going to operate. I would probably read a letter from Madam Jill Derby, our chair, thanking Nevadans for this historic day, thanking them for attending the precinct caucus, and what a great way to hear their voice heard. At noon is when you hear sort of when this caucus math, and we sort of hear the different terms that goes in, the actual caucusing takes place, okay? How many delegates does my caucus elect? Okay, right now there's those 1,700 precincts in the state of Nevada. We have apportioned out delegates by Nevada law to those precincts. Okay? And it depends on the number of registered Democrats in a precinct, depending on how many delegates that precinct's apportioned. Example, in Clark, in Washoe, I should say, Clark, Washoe, both same formulas, for every 50 Democrats, you get one delegate in that precinct. Okay? So therefore, if I'm Jason Syme, I'm the temporary chair in Washoe Precinct 101, I know before that meeting how many delegates that precinct is going to elect on to county convention.
The point of a caucus, too, is that it's not a one-person, one-vote process.
Yes.
What you're doing is no matter how many people show up that day, you could have 2 people show up for 8 delegates, just depending on, it's not going to happen, but I'm just saying in a scenario like that, they would choose those 8 delegates. So what they're doing, and what we're going to report to you the day of the caucus, is the percentage of delegates that each candidate gets. We're not going to report how many people voted for X candidate. It'll be the percentage of delegates that were allotted for X candidate.
Yep. At noon, using the caucus method, what I need to determine viability is that the caucus is not set to be one person, one vote. Rather, the caucus allocates delegates to a candidate that meets a certain viability threshold. Okay? Viability threshold is determined by the number of eligible caucus participants in the room, and then using a formula to multiply times to figure out what does it take to be viable in a precinct. Just so everyone knows, at noon, what I am determining is viability. Okay? For one delegate precincts, okay, it means those precincts elect one delegate. They don't break into preference groups. That delegate is elected by plurality. Whatever candidate has the largest percentage gets that one delegate. For 2 delegates, we would take the total number of eligible caucus participants in a room times 25%. That number is the viability number. 3 delegates is divide the number of participants by 6. 4 delegates or more, take the number of eligible caucus participants times 15%. Possible. We got veggie. Who's veggie? Pepperoni. I think you guys just had some pizza. No one's really excited. You got to get excited about this. Veggie's the best pizza. It's the best, healthiest pizza you can have. Come for veggie. You're already with wheat thins. You might as well come on over to veggie. Veggie. Come on over. Are you with veggie? Come on. Are you guys veggie? Yeah. What are you guys? You guys didn't even move. Come on over to veggie. You got to get up. You got to work on that pepperoni pizza. Come on. Veggie's the way to go. I'll make you a delegate. Come on over here. Come on.
Pizza will give you heartburn and heartburn.
Pizza is okay. That's good enough.
Meaning in some cases, it's going to be a split, like they're going to be viable, candidates are going to go, everyone's going to know where they're going to be standing immediately. Other cases are going to be this. There's going to be people who are undecided, they're not sure, the candidates are going to try to pull them. But this initial alignment, everyone gets basically 15 minutes to align. And as you saw, as the permanent chair, I'm allowed to participate. Okay? After the initial 15 minutes, I need to go around and see which groups are viable. Okay? So you have 15 minutes to realign. We'll make you a delegate over at Veggie if you want to come on over. Come on over. Veggie, Veggie, the best pizza. Unlimited.
So, but on this first date, then you can tally up who's for which candidate, and that's how we get who wins.
Whoever has the largest percentage of those 10,000 delegates is what we're going to say Nevada's choice was X. Yes.